This time, look, we have a we have a map, really, a process qualitative chart. We've read this task before, but I'll read the prompt one more time. It says the maps below show the map of Woodbridge Shopping Center in 1984 and 2002. So, am I going to identify the noun phrase and do all that? No, because this is a qualitative chart and the rules are a little different in qualitative charts. What you need to do is kind of follow the changes that you see in these two maps, starting from one corner and working your way to the other end. I'll tell you what I mean. So starting from the the southwestern corner, if we look at the four directions, the southwestern corner, we can see that there used to be a road from the western end leading up to the entrance, but now a parking lot has been built in its place. Then we have the entrance remains in the same location. There used to be a lake. This lake has now been removed, and the size of the shopping center has been expanded. As you can see, what I'm doing, and I'm not going to read this on and go over all the observed differences, but as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm very quickly, with my eyes, just going over, taking note of all of the changes I've observed to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks or that I don't forget to mention any of these details when it comes to writing the report. So as you can see, the process of understanding is a little, I would say, even easier, right? Because if you're doing it in your own language, it's not very complicated. And all you have to do is, again, take a mental note of all of the observable differences. The next step, remember, was understanding. And the three questions were, how can I divide this information or this chart into 2 or 3 parts? Now, the first mistake that a lot of students make is they look at this and they say, well, I'm going to write 2 paragraphs. I'm going to write 1 paragraph from 1984 and I'm going to write 1 paragraph for 2002. That does it, right? No, because you see, in qualitative data, you're supposed to describe the process of change, not to describe what it was like, just purely descriptive, in 1984, and then what it looked like in 2002. It's about describing the changes across time. The process needs to be described, right? So you can't say, oh, in the past, in 1984, there used to be a lake, there was a coffee shop, a food store. You can't just devote a whole paragraph to describing what the shopping mall looked like in 1984 without representing the changes that have occurred over time. Do you see? Therefore, what you need to do is take note of all the changes. Let's say we've made a list of 10 changes that have occurred. The lake was removed, the shopping center was expanded, a parking lot was built, the water fountain remained the same, an electronics store opened. So as you can see, there's a theme restaurant. We make a list of all the changes. We have 10. What are we going to do? Easy. We put 5 of them in the first paragraph, and we put the other 5 in the second paragraph. So yes, we will end up writing 2 paragraphs, but our 2 paragraphs will not correspond to the before and the after, but rather they will divide up all the changes observed into 2 or 3 parts, usually 2, and presented in 2 or 3 separate paragraphs, right? Okay, and then summarizing it. Summarizing a flowchart or a map, qualitative data, isn't really that difficult. It's not that complicated. In fact, many students have a problem reaching the word count when it comes to qualitative reports, and they struggle with reaching the 150 word count. Very rarely do we have instances where it's hard to mention everything in less than 200 words. But remember, you need to adjust the level of detail you include. So, for example, if you think there are a lot of changes, then you might want to bundle them together into fewer sentences. But when there are fewer changes that are observable in the maps, then you want to focus on describing those changes with as much detail as possible in order to help you reach the word count. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, please share, like, and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next lesson.